It would be more like curtsy out, please.
I'm sorry, that's a sexist comment. I do not stand for those kinds of things. David.
Hey, you're on. We're on.
We are live.
We're on.
Tube live.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Sean Dotson here with The Flip Side. It is August 8th, 2018, and this is the After Hours Party. That's right, your favorite non-PC beer drinking, thrill of the chase talking show. And once again, I'm down here at Three Rivers Brewery having a Double Blazes IPA from Three Rivers. Cheers, folks. And I'm here, as always, with my search partner, David Kramer, and my good friend, Decall Thomas. And Decall, I'm going to pass it over to you and introduce our very special guest tonight. So, Decall, you've got the con, brother.
We have, in person, the mysterious, the seductive, the never before seen on YouTube, Kpro.
Hi, all. I'm sorry for no bag over the head. I said that on THOR. Here I am. Hi.
Live. For reals. This is really the first time we ever got to see you. And you've been in the chase for a little while now. And this is awesome, man. We're so excited. We're fired up to hear about.
We are absolutely fired up to have you here. You know, like I said, it's always good to have a very strong female representative of the chase that knows a lot about, that can talk intelligently about everything chase related. So we're very excited to have you here with us tonight. Obviously, it's kind of a somewhat of a somber, occasion. The fact that we are here to talk about, Jdiggins and what we can do to help her out. But I really just want to, first of all, just to get to know you just a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself before we get involved in that. So Kpro, Christy, if we can call you that, we're just going to pass it over to you real quick.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody in the chat room. Yes, Christy, I go by Kpro. I will say the one time I met Forrest, he called me Kpro the entire time. So you all can call me Kpro. So I've been in the chase 3 years now. I have just scrapped my third solve. I've had one in Montana, one in Wyoming, one in New Mexico. I don't know if that means now I have to hit to Colorado, but I'm going to figure that out. Just got back boots on the ground about a couple days ago. Oh, no, this morning, 2:30 a.m. Flights got delayed. It was a disaster. There is weather here. I live in the South, so it takes forever to get over to the Rockies. Took on a new search partner a couple months ago. Follow Me Down is in the chat room, so thank you. Right, yeah, he is a poem pure, so everybody thought it was Sean. So David sent me.
It's just me.
Is that your only search partner?
His alter ego.
Christy, is that your only search partner? I just want to make sure, because I've heard a lot of rumors.
My only search partner. Now, the only other person I will say that I've been talking to and trying to convince to come back down to New Mexico is Cynthia. But we would partner up in a different way. So
no, you can't have her back. She's in my area now.
Well, David and I keep trying to convince Forrest to be our search partner.
That's the one you want.
Hell yeah.
That's the one you need.
Yeah, either that or Shiloh or Peggy or somebody,
Follow Me Down. I just want to remind you that since you are her search partner, that you're with every search partner she's ever been with for the last 7 years.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so search partner only. So let me go to the family portion of my life. I have a 9 and 11-year-old unavailable for any other partnerships. Let's see.
Are you trying to pawn your kids off? What?
That's what I was saying. I was like, she's taking the play date to a whole nother level.
Wow. Okay, so
welcome to David.
I am not a poem purist, and I try to take on a little bit of everything, and that's actually why I took on a partner who was a poem purist, because he sees the world, like Sean, sees the world differently than I would, and I think it's, I won't say that straight to his face.
They're a batshit crazy lot, ain't they?
And then, of course, the little-known THOR, Hint of Riches, started that in December of this last year. We're up to almost 500 searchers, about 100 posts, 150 posts a day. We had about 2,000 hits today, so today's been a big day.
Wow.
Forrest does check in with us, gives us words about once a month. And he has said that he will announce when the treasure chest is found on THOR. So a lot of people just check in to see how their day is going that day.
There you go. Yeah, got some of that.
What's that morning going to be like? Everybody's going to have an extra cup of coffee that day, a little Or in their coffee.
Yeah, that's the last day she gets any damn hits on Thor.
That's exactly. It's all over that. But he does laugh because every time someone says they found it, I email him and he's like, stop. Come on, every single time. And I fall for it every time. So as if he hasn't told me, it's not, but the minute he does, it's going right up on Thor. So that is the little bit about me.
Yeah. Awesome. So if I can really quick, Christy, I want to cut you off real quick. I just want to say hi to everybody in the chat room because we've had a lot of people in here going back, before the show started. Obviously, want to say hi to Rapala 67, Illinois Ghost. How are you, Rick? Follow Me Down, Sean Martinez, Chris Battles. I think I'm saying that right now if you corrected me. Jonesy1 is in the house. Hey, what's going on, Jamie? How are you? Jimmy Fast, Mark Connor, Davio 22, my brother from another mother up there in California. Journeyman, Journeyer, No One in Particular. That's a new one, like Unknown Searcher's cousin, apparently. Finn Treasure Hunter. Hey, Jason, how are you? Shane McLaughlin, H. Purd. Moo Calazars is in the house. Hey, Mike, how are you? Virgil Kane is my name. Unknown Searcher. Ooh. Minotaur Marino, how are you doing? The Car, that's a new name. I haven't seen that one. EAK, how are you? Totally Not Mitzi, our crazy, wild, and crazy girl. Follow Me. Oh, I already said that. Craig Carter, GL Cannon, JC, Paul Ammons, Teton Trapper. What's going on there, brother? Belva Jenkins, Rob G. And I know I'm probably going to miss a couple of you here. Man in the Barn. Hey, Brian, how are you? And I think I've got caught up with everybody there. If I didn't catch your name, I'll try and catch you later. But so, yeah, I think now's a good time to really kind of transition into, talking about what really is the topic of tonight's discussion is to talk about the efforts to help out one of our fellow searchers. And that is obviously, Jamie Jordan, otherwise known as Jdiggins, a very well-known searcher in all the forums and in the search community. So we really kind of asked Kpro to come on the show and really talk about the efforts that she's put on, a lot of efforts to organize all the forums and everybody in the search community to really come together for Jamie. So I want to pass that over to you, and Kpro, you can really kind of take the lead on that if you'd like. So you got the con. Okay.
Well, so I really have to give credit to a lot of the THOR community who, I'm bringing some notes up so I don't miss anything, who let me know. I knew a little bit about what was going on, but they're the ones that said I got 10, 15 searchers saying, "You're not met her. She's wonderful. Let's do something." And I think today is my official day where I no longer feel like a newbie. I went to different searchers and they all said, "Great, let's all do it together." And then I am leading this effort, which I'm excited about and I'm blessed to do. So contacted Dale, who I've not ever talked to. He gave me great information, said that I get it on my site. Jenny, same way, all the YouTube community. So basically, let me tell you what happened. Jamie lost her home and her business. She's not officially sure she lost her home, but she saw about 1/10 of a mile from her house 300-foot flames. So it's basically, she knows. She did get her dog out, husband. They tried to get the camper out. It broke down on the way of evacuating. So the camper is no longer there. She did not get 2 of her animals out. Her 2 kitties did not get out. And she got some clothes and she's uninsured because of some force and how it was set up. So basically she's going to start from ground zero. If any of you do know me, you know that I ask Forrest for stuff all the time. And I asked Forrest immediately for, "Can you give me Search Queen 1? And we just need to do an auction." And he actually said, "No, why don't I give you Search Coin 1? Why don't I give you a first edition TTOTC? Why don't I give you 2 other books? And you figure out if it's an auction, a raffle, whatever you need to do." So I started talking. I actually was with Cynthia. We started talking. And everybody that I talked to had met Jamie, knew her family, knew of her, but mostly people had known her. And I will say sometimes there's these little communities she was a part of every single one of them. So it was great. Within 24 hours, reached out to Mike Calazar, who I talked to one time, and said, as you all know, anyone on THOR and then these guys tonight, I am technology illiterate. So I don't know. I bought one thing. I bought one thing on PayPal, which was a coin from Mike. So I didn't know how to set this up. He took off with it immediately. People were, once I announced that there was going to be something, I must have gotten 100 note, like, when is it going up? How fast can it go? So within moments, we went from Search Coin 1, TTOTC, Too Far to Walk, and Once Upon a While to opening the PayPal, which I will tell you right now, and Mike's in the room, so he might be able to give an updated number, but he gave me a number about 30 minutes ago, and it is at $5,800.
Wow, that's great.
But this was the great part. We had all these other searchers come in and say, I want to contribute too. So I'm just going to run down the list that we have so far, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about, Toby teased it a little, but we're going to do something a little special. So we now have Search Coin 2, Paul Ammons, Search Coin 3, Paul Ammons, a 10-ounce Troy 0.999 pure silver bar from JS Gold and Coin of Westshore, the Ivory Tusk from Illinois Ghost, the Leon Gaspard book from Illinois Ghost, Jenny, Cynthia, Desert File, and Douglas Preston have all donated books. 3 shirts. Sean just had a video of the great shirts. We have 3 shirts donated. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, and then Jeremy P., if you know him, and I need this badly, he will give $1,000 of consulting, of digital consulting services, website
Nice.
design, all of that stuff. And then we have had 13 coins come in. So 13 coins outside of 1, 2, and 3 of people that wanted to donate coins. So here's what we're doing. We have decided that Search Coin 3 will become the second prize the minute we hit $10,000. Search Coin 2 will become the next prize as soon as we hit $15,000. All the rest of the items, on the 6th of September at 2 o'clock, there will be a bookstore event, and we will have all the other items, and we are hoping that there's at least, 20 items so far, and we're not even 24 hours in. That will be drawn. We will draw them all, and then we will put all those back in. So everybody will get those items, and then everybody will be put back in for the Search Coin 1 and books, Search Coin 2, and Search Coin 3. Forrest will be there. We have a special guest. It's a mystery guest. I will tell you, I don't know who the mystery guest is. So 2 can keep the secret if one of them is dead. So Forrest knows. Don't tell me because I might post it on THOR. So it has been incredible. I told Jamie just a few minutes ago. I will say I talked to Jamie. I was boots on the ground, and I do have to say I was not happy. I was at the airport, like Copper says, that walk of shame. And I called Jamie and I told her the news, and she started crying, and she said, these are my first tears of joy. And then she told me everything she went through, and she just said, I don't know what I did to deserve this. And I said, you're a part of this great community, and you've been a part of this great community. So it's been, Sean.
Holy crap, we lost Sean.
Yeah, don't worry. Sean just texted me. But believe it or not, what I was laughing about is Kpro has the wheelhouse now. So
He's got it was like one in. There you go.
you have the least
Hell yeah.
skills, but you're in control, so you can.
Okay, so if anybody has my text and Jeremy P., this is where the $1,000 of consulting fees come in. I need some help. Just text me.
Donate an extra 100 or 2.
Yeah, but for God's sakes, don't share your desktop with anybody. I can't see them Chippendales
Can
again.
I share Decall or David's desktop? Can I do that? Okay.
You may have to be the one, Christy, to pull the right lever though, or push the right button to get it back on. But don't sweat it. We'll tell you which one.
It's kind of like a shitty slot machine. We either get him or we don't.
Okay. Well, you tell me what I need to do because there's.
No, I mean
he'll tell us. Okay.
Yeah, he'll tell us.
Okay, so going back to, she was blessed. She's devastated, but she said, I'm smiling right now. I'm excited right now. I can't believe it. I asked her if she could be in YouTube, to be here. She asked me how to walk her through that. She's usually in the middle of nowhere in the forest. So she said, I never get YouTube, so I don't even know how to start. So she is with us in her heart. We couldn't get all of that figured out. And actually, she doesn't have good enough broadband where she's living with a relative right now. as they figure out how to rebuild. So, so she's wonderful. We love her. I know she's a strong woman, so she's going to do, and they're a strong family, so they're going to do great.
You got their photos out and a couple other important things.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing I want to say is kind of about those sub communities. The sub communities came through. We're like a community right now, which I will say I've been in the search 3 years and I don't think I've seen that. I mean, actually, I'll give credit to Harry's crew. They were the ones, I had donated a coin to them and they said, can we donate it back on behalf of Jamie? And can you do something with it? Yeah. And that's what triggered all of these conversations. So huge shout out to Harry's crew.
I mean, it was way different when Randy, but man, people were really involved. I mean, spending thousands of dollars and many hundreds of hours researching for Randy. And it does prove that we got the search community. We got a community of friends here. And
yeah. So I know if items keep coming in, we're going to just keep that list running. I think we have, Mike would know better, but again, $5,800. I think we have 200-300 already out. Some people have said they just want to donate. They don't want a ticket. I will tell you, I encourage you to put Jamie's name on it then, because then she could get some additional items and maybe sell them or do something with them. I'm sure she did have some chase things with her. I'm sure she didn't have all of them. So this is going to be a way but if you do want to donate, everything's up on THOR. I'm going to continue to update that. But all the YouTubers, again, everybody came through. It was awesome.
Oh, I'm going to tell you, that was a really easy process, man. I mean, if you all got a PayPal account, they've made it so simple. You just click on that link, you're in, and it's just a couple of clicks and you're all good.
Well, and Sean and Dal and a few others have contacted both Mike and I. I can tell you, I am helping people through technology-wise. You need to be on Chrome. And if you can't get into your own PayPal, you can't get into this PayPal. Switch devices. So I've walked 3 people through how to get into their PayPal by switching to Chrome and then switching devices.
Wait a minute. Why have you got to be on Chrome? I was on Firefox. I got it good.
I'm talking to people that are having errors. They think it's something wrong with the link.
Sorry.
We've had probably about 10 people say that they've had a problem. Mike's dealt with some. I've dealt with 3 or 4 of them. We got everybody fixed. So if you're having an issue, but we also have an additional, if you want to send Mike a check and then make sure to put your email on it, he'll get in touch with you and he'll get all that taken care of.
Yeah, for God's sakes, don't give up, man. If it gets tough, that just means you got to try harder.
Yeah, and just email us. We'll take care of you. But everybody, again, I got to be the tech, which it blows my brain. But I walked people through and we've gotten everything fixed. So,
awesome.
But literally 10 minutes ago, there was 10 search coins. Now there's 13 search coins. So everybody's asking, what does the list look like? I'm going to update the list each day as the items continue to come in. So we're hoping that, but again, search coin 3 isn't going to be out there until 10 grand. And search coin 2 until 15 grand. So we really want to see this.
Oh, that's okay. We'll get there.
Oh, absolutely. I think we'll get there. There's a few that want to make larger donations. And that's why they're saying they don't want to do the search coins or the tickets. Give them to Jamie and their family, but you don't have to. If you just say, no, I don't even want to, we're fine with that. We will just leave those numbers null.
Can you imagine if not only cash, but some of those prizes started rolling in?
Oh, it's going to be awesome.
It is going to be awesome.
It's going to be fun. So, and bookstore, Forrest just let me know. I asked him who was emceeing. He's let me know I'm emceeing. So I'm going to fly in to Santa Fe. And I just found out, I was like, yeah, and Mike's not going to be able to be there. So I have reached out to Cynthia and I'm hoping we will partner. So we will hold a good event, but Shiloh will be there and Forrest will be there. And that's the plan right now. There's always something that can happen last minute.
Sure.
But bookstore, 2 p.m. on the 6th. And it's going to be exciting. But I haven't said, I don't think AGK is going to be live streaming. We're also going to do like a backup just in case.
I was going to say, we know how good they are at live streaming.
Shame on you.
I know that was really shitty, but
Technology things happen. So we'll have backups. Everybody will have their numbers anonymously. Some of them don't want to be the one, oh, now I have search coin 1. So everyone will have their numbers up front, but not everybody will know everybody's numbers. So we're trying to do it as transparently as possible, but also don't divulge people that don't want to be known in this,
Brother Thomas, what's the strongest thing that we can help do?
Yeah, people get serious, you know, just find $25 and put it in there, you know, just find a way to get it. And there's several web pages. The Mysterious Writings got the items. It's also on THOR. It's also on Dale's site, Dale Neitzel. So
sure,
you can find the information and just get them.
Well, I have two comments to that, David, if you don't mind. One, I would love you to go up on THOR and just give Jamie and her family a shout out. You're thinking of them. What can you do? I will tell you, she's very humble. She's not going to ask for anything, but just here's a, you know, we're thinking about you. The second thing is, I thought Jeremy P did a perfect job. If you have an expertise or you have something, it might not be chase related, that you want to throw in the kitty, I can tell you when I saw Jeremy P.
That's a cool idea.
Oh, I need to, that is what I need. So I would love to see things like that in the community that, you know, we're all experts in our own ways. So we can bring in, that's the rest of the community that can come together.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to include your prayers. No stamp required.
Yeah.
No post.
Now look at that, Brother Kramer talking about prayer. That's excellent.
Well, that's why I was segueing over to you, brother. So it's the strongest thing we can do. I thought the man in the black hat would come through.
Well,
that one was honest there, Decall. You're slipping a little.
He's going like, well, I'll weld you up something cool, you know.
He was just deferring. He wanted to see if you'd do it, David. Good.
No, I like it. That's the simplest idea. Yeah, I love it. And I mean, I think we're all here for everybody in the community. I mean, if you guys are broke down in Vegas or want to go out to lunch in Vegas or need some welding or welding advice, shoot me an email.
Wow, hey, there you go.
Why not? I'll weld it for you. I don't care. I don't need money.
Let's see. H-Purd just asked if the family would like to do an Amazon wish list so that some of their needs could be fulfilled through a list like that, you know, kind of like a wedding registry.
Good idea, yeah.
You know? Yeah. Oh, I think that's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah. I'll look into all ideas, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Jdiggins would have to say what she might need or, but I mean, she's going to have a significant amount of cash, which isn't enough. It's not enough to replace anything, but that'll get her in, you know, a better, comfortable survival mode, you know?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. And if it's like any of these Florida insurance companies, like when a hurricane rolls through, they're like, fire? What fire? I didn't see any damn fire. You know, it's like, really? Come on, guys, get off the checkbook and let's get these people right.
What is Jdiggins' business? What is she? Does she willing to say it, what that is? I mean,
she may. I would want her to.
Oh, okay.
If that's something.
No, I mean, I feel bad she lost her business. Holy crud, that's big. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what I guessed when I was with Sean. You know, there's a couple different industries that I won't mention. I should be ashamed of myself. Christy, let's see. Do you see Sean trying to get back in anywhere in there?
Oh, he's still having, that's why I'm a little distracted, but his computer's still having some issues. You know, you reboot 2 or 3 times and maybe it's not working, but
yeah, he's probably going through those updates again. He canceled them last time and they're going like, yeah, we're going to get you next 2 weeks. Buddy.
Thanks, Microsoft. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Timing.
Oh, that was our set. It's at 6,100. So, I mean, it's been 20 minutes.
Oh, that's, yeah. I was like, what is that number? What are these numbers? Yeah, now I get it. Duh. And Mike Calazar, he's gonna go to dinner. If you come through Vegas, me and Mike are both taking you out. So come on down.
Okay, let's see. We got a question here from Anon. Is Kpro able to confirm that the chest is still out there 30 days from yesterday when we released whatever the hell that is? Will be the day. Oh, I know what that is. The day of the drawing. Okay. Can we confirm the chest is still out there?
So I said this a little bit earlier. I don't email him every day about it. I can tell you as of, well, he's told me to stop. So, I mean, there's only,
what would you do? You know,
cut it out. I'm not going to check in every single day. And I like to use up my little pieces to get other words from him. But I can tell you as of day before yesterday, when I was boots on the ground. Oh,
Sean, yeah, that's what I said. Look, he's trying to come back in.
Oh, like I don't know if I want to give up the power. I mean, I have too much power at this point. I have to give it up to him, right? I don't know if I'm ready.
Well, yeah. If you can figure out how to right-click and promote or something.
Okay,
yeah, it's going to be over on the other side, and then you got to figure out how to like close that and
so I need a mouse. Okay.
wave your hand over it and say some words.
Should I add him to chat?
Sure.
Well, you got to give him some permission or.
Yeah, you got to promote him out of like.
I'm glad you guys are making this easy for my first time on.
Yeah, hey, shit.
Whoever is the first one to call or to click on the invite.
It says, "Would you like to hide him?"
Yeah, right next to the chest. Then I go find it.
Click on.
Oh, I can hear him.
Come on, David. Hang on. Click on participants.
Okay.
And then right click
See,
on.
can you hear him?
Right or left click on.
Oh, I see. Raise his hand. Okay.
No, not raise hand, but.
Okay, Sean Dotson. Oh, okay. I'm now chatting with him.
Uh,
oh, he's the host.
See, he's talking. He's telling you.
He says he's the host.
Kpro, just right click on my name and promote to panelist. And then when I'm promoted to panelist,
it says you're a panelist. It says you're now host, but it will only give me your microphone. It will not give me a video.
That's weird.
That is weird, Sean. But like I said, you got a face for radio, so we're kind of really in the right place here.
We're good.
You want to go back out and maybe come back in? I have your participant.
Try right-clicking on his name.
I did that, and it says.
Did you wave your hand to do the thing?
If you right-click on it and say promote to panelist, then it should put me to where you can get. It gives me video.
So it says panelist. It says you are a panelist. You are now host.
Oh.
Do you get anything when you right-click? Christy, do you get
not anymore. It won't let me now. Because it says he's the host. He's the host. Well, why don't I try to figure this out while you guys chat away?
Well, no, you're the key master now. That's the problem.
That's right.
No, it's got me as the host. Why did you promote me to host?
Let's
see. Hold on.
Yeah, see if you can change anything.
All right, Decall, you're now the host.
Okay.
Zoom does not currently support sharing your video from browser. Hold on, that's weird. I'm gonna jump out and I'm gonna try and come back.
You're the host now.
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna leave. Decall, you re-invite me, but you got to make sure I've got video. So I'm gonna leave, and then Decall, you're gonna have to re-invite me. This is fun, folks.
Yeah, sorry, everybody.
Well, the room is liking it. We'll just have to go like a 3-hour show.
And then the chat won't be available, David.
Dilly. Well, that's all right. We'll know we were here.
Hey, do you guys want to start talking about why you'll never stumble upon the chest? That was the subject.
Yeah, because it's in a tree. It's in a freaking tree. Really?
David, we can't judge others because we are not Forrest Fenn, but I happen to agree with you in a less direct way that it would be challenging for me to see it in a tree. So I'm not climbing trees. Does that really withstand the test of time? Even if it's 1,000-year-old tree, I don't think it's going to withstand. I think it's because...
No, but way to insert yourself like my mother.
I'm okay with that. I'll be called
I'm good with that
too. That's the worst thing on call tonight. That I'm doing well. So as I'm sitting here with no current solve, so I can't say much, but I'll say that.
No, that's probably the best place to be though right now. Let me tell you something. As we're like August 8th, 2018. All right, look, somebody muted Sean. I see that. That's probably a good idea.
Oh, co-host. He's now a co-host.
Ooh. Johnny Carson had a co-host.
Unmute.
Yeah. They're all dead now.
Yeah, I don't have rights anymore.
Unmute.
Well, so that's my question is, I've already restarted once, and it was tough. It took me a good 6-9 months to get back to
Oh, man. Ain't that a bitch? Where were you?
Of course, I have to do Ojo Caliente for my first one because I think every newbie has to go and swim where Forrest swam and then come back boots on the ground. Just someone else missed it. The other 100,000 people missed it. So I did Ojo Caliente.
Well, according to Dale, that's where Fenn washes his nuts. So I don't know.
So then I went to Montana. I had a Nez Perce Trail solve. I gave it to a couple people. Cynthia won, who's up there right now. My current search partner followed me down. And they didn't start running, and it actually had a fatal flaw. So I knew it was, yes! Woo, crazy Jesus.
Oh my God, that was fun.
Yeah, you should have done a costume change, man.
I know, right? Something. Well, that was fun, folks.
I knew once I had a...
Good job, guys. Keep it going.
Hey, once I actually had like fatal flaw, I mean, no offense to Decall, I'm taking the opposite approach. If I see a fatal flaw, something that I
Decall is a fatal flaw. I mean, look at the
Decall. I think Forrest could tell him it is in a different spot, and Decall would be like, "Oh, that's Fenn speak. That means it's really."
Forrest,
big.
It's right underneath that 800-foot salamander. I'm telling you.
I mean, that was wild, Decall.
I got the 800-foot. I got everything. I got the floating hat.
It's right where the milk sack would be.
Probably in the box, you know, right under the double omega, the salamander's double omegas.
The huevos.
Well, so I had a Montana solve then, a Wyoming, and I scrapped it. And then I said, I had a couple people who had been sharing their solves and Follow Me Down had a really good one. And he'd just been boots on the ground, walk of shame a few months ago. And he said, I'm thinking about scrapping it. And I said, well, there's one thing. Have you considered this? And he went, oh, damn, no, I can't get back out there. Do you want to go out there? And I said, yeah. And the only thing we fought over, and we did a poll on THOR, I thought he should get the treasure chest and I get an item from it. And he thought it should be 50-50, but he'd had it almost totally there. It was like that last part.
Darn it. Why couldn't I have you as my search partner?
Hey, fuck you, man.
So I now have two volunteers as my search partners.
No,
everybody needs to start worrying about fighting over things. None of us have it. So
all David said he wants is the dirt that covers it. That's all he said he wanted.
He's lying. So now I just got back 2:30 this morning, boots on the ground, and we both agree it's a scrap solve. And so we're looking for a new WWWH. And if I can get one by September 6th, I will on September 7th or 5th be boots on the ground. So
a question I always ask, Christy, is what do you think is more important? What Warm Waters Halt is or where Warm Waters Halt is?
I believe I already know one. So the other one is the most important.
Come on now.
I already believe I know what it is. So I
don't even think Forrest Fenn could write a more cryptic answer than that.
Well, just look at the words that I'll put it on THOR tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. I believe.
You know what's really sad? I've never been to THOR. I've never been to THOR. I've avoided all the BS of all the shit out there, and I am far better off for it.
Well, no, but here's the one thing. I do have to tell you, my search partner now, and I'm sorry to embarrass you, I had to explain because he was posting on some of the other places, and I had to explain some of it, and he's like, what? And I said, how do you not know this? There were threads, and he's like, oh, I open it, and if it's anything not related to the actual treasure hunt, I just delete it, and I'm like, okay.
And he doesn't read much on the forums, does he?
Man, it's like
on THOR he does.
There's nothing, Sean. You know? They're all entertaining. That's all it is.
Man,
no, there's good stuff on THOR. THOR is different.
Sean reads everything. Sean absorbs everything. He's a walking computer.
But he can't remember his fucking name.
He can remember every single quote of every single anything related to the chase. I take exception on Sean's behalf.
No, that's not true.
So I'm looking for WWWH in New Mexico because I'm going there in, I guess, a few weeks. I got to book something soon because I just found this out an hour before.
So did we, and I completely missed like the whole first half an hour of the show, obviously. So we obviously got covered everything for Jdiggins and everything that's going on there. Great. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I'll update daily on THOR. And if the YouTubers want to come in and look at the updates, the items that come in, I'm going to update every day, and we're going to have, some of them like Search Coin 2 and 3. We actually have some thresholds, but everything else, it's just going to be basically a huge raffle rather than this raffle of just one item. There's going to be, at least probably there's already about 20 items. in less than 24 hours.
So apparently I just need to go back and watch my own show to figure out what
watch your own show.
Yeah,
we learned that Jeremy Parnell is going to be auctioning off his services for the auction. So
very nice, Jeremy. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What kind of services are we talking about, Jeremy?
Shoe shining.
Shoe shining, right? Very nice. As he works with horses, so you gotta clean your stalls. I don't know. What are you gonna do, Jeremy? Kidding, brother.
Oh, I was gonna say multimedia or something. Probably maybe some web or some. Photo.
So I'm really happy that maybe now we will have something for the media to really talk about. Something good. There's been. In some of these articles we've had lately, it's been some kind of stuff like, it's a cult and some other negative stuff about the chase. I'm looking forward to hopefully, this next, article that we have on the chase, that they could talk something, great about the community coming together. Yeah. Because I think, Chrissy, as you had said, kind of alluded to before I got lost there, is that, it's nice to see the community all come together, and all the forums are coming together and putting all our differences aside and all the other, BS aside, and really coming together for one of our own. And that's good, because that's what really matters, is that we're all in this boat.
It's a restart for all of us, because there's times, for those of you that do read more than just the chase related, sometimes we lose our way. Maybe this is the way that we all get a restart, and we kind of lose that bitterness and other stuff, and we get to just start in the good and the positive. And for every tragedy, maybe there's something we learn out of it. So
sure, absolutely.
Kind of the 9/11 of the chase community, as it were.
Sad, but you're right.
Yep.
You're right.
Things happen, and you don't always know it happens, but at least now we know that she needs some help, and we're going to help her. That's cool.
Yeah, I think we came together well when Shannon, needed our help, and again here. And, may the good Lord be willing that we're not needed again. But if we are, then we'll join together again. And as a community, we'll lift someone up.
Yeah, there's definitely been crises that have happened in the chase where we've all, kind of put our differences aside and come together. So it's great to see it once again. The community is continually growing. So obviously that community, comes together in bigger forms now.
Well, and I will say, I think to Sean's point, I don't know what they'll look like, but I know that there are still 2 major articles that are going to be, one is going to be massive. The other one I think is going to be a big one, but the one is massive. So I still think we have 2 more coming out this search season. So, but again, they can take a twist and go negative kind of thing.
So if you journalists are watching this tonight, this is the kind of stuff you need to talk about. Bring this stuff up, because this is what the community is about. There's a lot of stuff that'll sell you magazines, but this is what really is going on. This is how the community comes together, I think.
So Cherry is asking, can I ask each of us what state you guys think the treasure chest is in and why?
I was going to say, I think Cherry's been drinking a lot. You see that?
The after party, isn't that?
Woo!
David, what state are you in, David?
I'm in the state of motherfucking confusion.
I'm in Montana, so I'm fully published on Fenn treasure.
I'm in the search state where the treasure is, the one that he left it in. That's
that's the one.
That's what we're supposed to say, David.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, but you didn't even ask me what opinions were like.
I got
every week.
Obviously, I got hacked and somebody kicked me out of here. Is what happened.
Oh man.
Hey, Sean, why don't we talk about stumbling over the chest, or maybe even what's the word, or the 1930
sure.
Eagle, or what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, tonight let's kind of segue into what Toby and the panel was talking about tonight. Is that he talked about if Forrest Fenn has said no one's going to happen upon, stumble, or trip over that treasure chest, then how did Forrest Fenn find or come up with the spot that he has hid the treasure in?
Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 quotes talking about it.
Yeah, there's several.
Stating that idea over and over, like.
Yep.
Some of them are kind of like a different kind of perspective.
And I said a couple things in the chat over there that I don't think got seen, and that's fine with me, no big deal. But one thing I will talk about is just kind of, and I know David, you and I have talked about this, and I think I've mentioned it to you before, Decall too, is there is a difference, in my opinion, between the bells and the treasure. And Forrest Fenn has said, those bells are hidden. You know, I buried them 3 feet deep so a metal detector will never find them, you know, and hopefully in, you know, 1,000 years or a couple thousand years, much like the Rosetta Stone, somebody will find those things and they'll ring that bell and I will know about it. Well, those bells are hidden with the intent that somebody will only stumble across them. And the reason why I say that is it will be by accident. It will be somebody excavating something in 1,000 years, or erosion will, you know, bring one to the surface or something, and those things will be accidentally found. They're not. There's not a poem. Hold on. There's not a poem or anything that's going to lead you to those things. There's nothing intentionally to lead somebody to that. The treasure is different. The treasure will not be stumbled on because somebody will be purposely and go with confidence to that location specifically. Now, we can get into all we want to talk about how that thing is hidden, about how somebody won't accidentally come across it. But I think that the bells are somewhat different than the treasure, you know, in that sense. So what would you want to say?
Don't you think Fenn is just making some sort of point, some sort of emphasis on the idea that there is a reason, there's an obstacle, it's obviously not in a direct path. It's perhaps in a place where it could be walked over, stumbled across. So What is that obstacle? Is it some kind of muddy, marshy? Is it rocky, steep? Is it?
It's not steep. My opinion is he's not going to do it. He's not going to put it where it's dangerous. So I think it's actually both. I think it's a place that is a little bit off the beaten path because that's what he likes to do. Sean probably has the exact quote somewhere. Yeah. But it also is, it's hidden in some way. I don't think it's buried. And so I think
concealed. He said concealed, and the definition of concealed is sort of covered or hidden in some way. So, and that qualifies for buried also. We don't know how much.
Don't go get a backhoe. It's not buried.
No, I'm not even encouraging that. I'm just saying that, like
what was that guy's name?
Yeah, somebody has, you know,
Hey, Forrest Fenn, we've answered how deep a hole is. Apparently, it's 15 feet deep.
Well, he said he needed what? 3
and 2 feet below that, yeah.
Come on, Sean, man. Yeah. There's questions flying over here. Minotaur Marino's asking the deep shit.
The deep shit. Well, one thing I want to.
Minotaur Marino's over on THOR. You should check it out.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, you can answer him over there. Hold on. There's one thing I want to hit on that Toby took a little bit of heat on here not too recently, was about the 1,000-year comment. And I questioned Toby in the sense that to me it was such a blatant misquote of Forrest that I thought it was almost purposeful by Toby, and I'm hoping that was the case. But Forrest Fenn has said he tried to think of everything that it could last 1,000 years, in that sense that he had to, in my opinion, when he went to hide this thing, he had to think about, what if this thing really isn't found in 1,000 years? I have to put this thing in a place that it may, be there for 1,000 years, that people can't figure this thing out. If he just assumed it was only going to last for 10 years or 100 years or whatever, you could have been mistaken, and that thing could have been washed out by erosion or knocked over by a tree or all these other things. So when we talk about why it won't be stumbled on or why it won't be tripped over or happened upon, it's got to be in a place that most people aren't necessarily going or thinking of going. And that may be why we have this 500, 200-foot rule.
But Sean, you probably remember the quote. He said, people keep arriving there. Yes. Why arriving? Why did he say the word arriving? It makes me feel like maybe not the exact spot, but the location is where they're arriving.
I don't know if he said exactly people are arriving there. I think he said, people have arrived at the first 2 clues, but they're arriving there by chance, or they don't understand the significance of where they are.
That's an older idea. He said that some of them are searchers.
Yep.
Some of them that are close. He didn't clarify if they were the 200-footers or the 12-footers or the 500.
Oh, he did. Okay, another reason you got to go to THOR. That's one of the set of words. So the only sets of words he gives, and David Minotaur is saying he'll tell you how deep the hole is if you join THOR. But that's the only thing that Forrest does. You go to scrapbooks for Jenny's. You go to Dow's for scrapbooks for Dow's. You go to words for Jenny's, and he clarifies any of these conundrums on THOR, and he's given
and
us.
And you go to the poem for the answers.
Yeah, well, but he he clarified that comment. I asked him, was the 200 footer, and I might not get it exactly right, and go ahead and chat room, you can go find the exact quote, but we have a sticky. Was the 200 footer someone on the forums or not on the forums? Meaning, were they searchers or not? Yeah. And he said some were on the forums and some were not. Yeah. That makes me believe there's more than one searcher. I know some people are saying people versus searchers. That clarified it for me, and that came straight from Fenn.
Yeah, well,
Fenn also has Fenn speak, so.
But he has said that he hasn't clarified how many people have actually been within that 200-foot club. Even this most recent one where he was quoted as saying somebody recently was within 200 foot. And, what is recently? Recently, like how deep is a hole? I mean, it could be recently to a guy who's 88 years old. Could be 4 years ago. It could be 2 weeks ago.
No, that's another set of words that came out on THOR. He said it was not recently.
Yep. No, I'm just saying. Yeah. I mean, it was a misquote. Somewhat of the journalist, because he said, exactly. Oh, somebody recently. Well, to that journalist who might be 27 years old, recently might be a few months ago. But to somebody who's 87 years old, 4 years ago was pretty recent. I mean,
right.
It's all relative.
So he clarified he did not say recently, and if we don't say it, was it from the last time he set the quote, which was 2013 or 12, 13? Yep. So does that mean that nobody's been close? We did a poll of how many people think the gut feeling is them or the 200 footers them. And we have like 25 people that thinks it's them. And if you extrapolate that out, I mean, there's hundreds of thousands that believe.
Hey, everybody listen, I started the 200-foot club. So.
Oh, hell.
And I started the 188-foot club because I was 12 foot closer.
I have a bumper sticker for you.
And I started the Mile High Club. What the hell are you guys talking about? Or the hair club for men. I mean,
yeah, exactly. We have no idea where the hell that thing is, or we.
And the one thing that it always trips me up and gets me thinking every time I'm out there searching is that comment that Forrest made in Scrapbook 78 back in 2014, where he was correcting a whole bunch of misnomers that were stated by searchers, where he said, listen, I've never said anyone had been closer than 12 feet from the treasure. It is not likely anyone would get that close and not find it. And that just, it's always running in my brain when I'm out there searching that, man, all I got to do is potentially get within 12 feet of this thing to have a chance of finding it, and exactly right. That's one to definitely think about. What does that tell you? Whether the thing is buried or not buried? If some wind blew, if some, I keep saying that, if some weeds blew in there, would it be sepultured or entombed or whatever? I mean, does that mean it's not buried?
Well, and that's it. That's a great clue. Look, if some weeds blew in there, so think about all the places that some weeds could blow in. Ain't in a freaking hole where it's buried.
Yeah.
It's not up in a tree. All right. We all understand that we're looking for things in the Rocky Mountains, okay? And a lot of searchers that are new to this are looking for places to begin their search. A lot of searchers that are old to this, we got Illinois Ghost, we've got Jason, Fenn Treasure Hunter, we've got ourselves, we've got Brother Thomas here that have spots that we continue to return to. And the reason that we return to those same spots is because we don't know how this thing is hidden. Yeah. And if we believe that we're going to get within 10 or 12 feet of it and we're going to find it, then, maybe the enormity of the area, just overwhelms us. And in order to walk that entire area, you need days upon days upon days. All right.
Yeah, but how do we walk right to it with confidence and actually but without, we actually know what we're doing?
I think that out the window.
I think that confidence only comes after, experience.
This came out when Mike Calazar came out and said that he'd never been boots on the ground. There was lots of discussion about, can you do it without boots on the ground? I think it's possible. It's just not probable. Go one boots on the ground, get that high and get that crush, and then look in the vastness where I went with confidence when I went. Sure. And I went and looked around and went, holy, shut the front door. I'll just be good about it. And what happened?
Right. Well, you ain't had enough Bud Light if you're being good about it.
And what did Forrest Fenn say in one of his quotes when somebody asked can somebody solve all 9 clues from home? And he said, yeah, in theory, yes, but not likely in practice. And what that means to me and how I interpret that is, you know, in practice means that you've got to go out there and continue and have confidence in your general solve. You've got to have confidence in the exact starting point, which is, to me, is that general solve.
But you also have to be ready to say, I have been out 50 times, 100 times, whatever, you need to really look at the fatal flaw. And I do have to say, I gave mine to a few people. Anybody who thinks someone's going to steal their solve, they're in love with their own solve. Everyone can send their solves to Decall. He's not moving. So I can tell you, that's most of the community. I'm not picking on Decall. So I think we need to be sharing more. Look what Sasha did with her great find, and Davio with that 2006 video. That's what we need to be doing. Because, quite honestly, no one's moving locations. They're just confirmation biasing into their area of all this new information. But I do think we need to start sharing more or team up more. I teamed up with somebody who, now we scrapped the solve, but I'm like, hey, these are different minds. They still need to come together.
No, I love it. Working together is awesome.
I think the fatal flaw that you're mentioning, Christy, is our overemphasis in trying to interpret our idea of what that special place is. And it kind of goes into what Toby's show was tonight, is that, you know, his show is all about, you know, okay, then what was Forrest Fenn's place? How did he stumble across it? And I think there's this overemphasis by us searchers to try and force fit our interpretation of what Forrest Fenn's special place is.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse. You know,
how would you recognize the place, though? I mean, is it even?
We're not going to. Forrest Fenn has even told us that. And let me hold on. I'm gonna share. Well, I can't share my screen because
you think Fenn is so crazy that he's got an inside joke. It's a flat, boring field. Okay, it's some inside joke of his. It's special to him. That's a little bit crazy. Okay.
Well, but wait.
Something that's recognizable.
I have to tell you, I was in love with my first spot, but that's my special spot now. And I tried. And after 16 hours of sitting there, I just sat back. My search partner at the time kept going into every hiding hole. I'm like, give it up, dude. I said, this is all. If I ever hide a treasure chest, I know where I'm hiding it, but I'm looking for his. So I need to get rid of my heart, and I'm using my head. I got to use it, every word of his.
Well, what does Forrest Fenn say in the fold out of the map and Too Far to Walk? He said, I warned that what does he say? I warned that the path would not be direct for those who had no certainty in the location beforehand, but sure for the one who did. And I think that really revolves around his whole, you know, weekly word where he says the destination is small, but its location is huge. And then it still incorporates back to, you know, let's coin a new phrase. You cannot have a correct solve unless you can knowingly get within, you know, several steps of the treasure. So then he talks about obviously a general solve. And I think that general solve is that location. You know, I warned that the path would not be direct for those who had no certainty in the location. That is the general solve. That is the technically maybe the special place. That may be the geographical area, you know, that Warm Waters Halt resides in, or whatever you want to call it. That is the general solve and the special place in its whole. You know, the location is huge, but our destination, the actual treasure's resting spot, that exact spot where he wanted to cast his bones on or whatever, may not be the precise spot that whatever inseminated that special thing in his mind happened. It's just that general area, you know, that is. And whether that be Yellowstone, whether that be up in Bozeman, whether it be in New Mexico, Colorado, or wherever, yeah, I mean, we're putting the cart before the horse by trying to force fit our interpretation of what that special place is. So just allow the poem to lead you to that, and then maybe, like he says, Jenny, maybe they will, but probably not. You might have an idea why that place is special because of where it is,
but give probably not. Decall, it's not going to be a little mound. I don't believe it's going to be someplace. This man was an adventurer. This man did things that most people don't do. If it was special to him, I think there's going to be some amazingness in it. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't know if it's a waterfall.
It's going to be unicorns and kittens romping next to a waterfall.
Unicorns and rainbow lanterns right there. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's got to be something recognizable. You got a 200-foot mark and you got a 12-foot mark. And it's probably the poem probably gets you down to 12 to 200 feet. That's enough to find the treasure.
And that's pretty damn precise compared to all the millions of acres that we've got in the whole Rocky Mountains. So if you can get within, several steps of that treasure from all of the Rocky Mountains out, and as a poem purist, out of just 160 words in the poem, that's pretty freaking precise in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, I've had this debate with Sean, but I've also had it with my search partner, so I'm going to throw it out to you. So he hasn't looked at the scrapbooks. He hasn't read the books. I tried to get him to read the books because your minds get a bias when you have all that crap in there. Yep. And I know you think you can compartmentalize, but I don't think you can. If you read it all, it's then has put stuff in there, in my opinion, that are red herring type things.
Okay. Well,
so how are you a poem purist, Sean?
Well, okay. Well, there's a difference between somebody who starts out from the get-go as a poem purist, and there's somebody who's different that didn't start out as a poem purist. I didn't completely start out as a poem purist. I evolved into what I call a poem purist based on experience. I was out there, like Decall and like Dale and everybody else thinking that Warm Waters Halt was Madison Junction because, again, I thought people were way ahead of me. So I ran out there, did the traditional, what I call, trip to the stone, and came back and had my whole book burning thing that was about me realizing what I was doing wrong. And that was that there was just way too much noise out there. There was just way too many rabbit holes and things that were blocking up my mind. And then I evolved into a poem purist. So because I didn't start out as a poem purist, yes, I can't block all those 188 scrapbooks out of my mind. I can't block out all the weekly words. I can't block out all the interviews and everything that I've read. And I'm not saying, some people want to say I'm completely hamstringing myself because, I stick to reading the poem and interpreting the poem, but that is purely my foundation of everything.
Sean,
everything else is ballast.
Let me ask you the same questions that Toby was sort of getting at. I'll summarize them all. What do you think this place looks like? Is it grandiose? Is it 10 by 10? Is there anything special?
Well, okay.
What does the place look like?
It's fucking boring, is what it is, and because we have, again, okay. Let's go back to the Experience Skinner, and in the Experience Skinner, and the whole thing was him saying, he got me with the oldest trick in the book. When it wasn't how special that knife was. It was how special he could make me think it was. So Forrest isn't out there trying to make us think that this place is so special because there's unicorns and kittens romping along a waterfall. It is us searchers that, make it into this magical, mystical place.
Yeah, but
in reality, it may not be.
Sean, what do you get?
No, but if it's boring, what's special? He's
we don't know what is special. We may never know, Christy, because he's not telling us.
Look at your spot. I remember when I went to Hygeia Springs. If you haven't gone there, look it up. I thought Me Almond and Mound. I went out there and I went, it is literally about a 3-inch mound. And I went, it's a mound of dirt.
I got a better mound than that. Come on, mine's like 12 inches.
Well, it was like, and I knew when I got there, I was like, oh, now I look at Ojo Caliente and I think it's something like this. That place rocks. That's my special spot.
Okay, and here's the same question I raised to Dale when he was on here last week. And this goes back to the April 24th the Q&A with Jenny. And Jenny asked Forrest Fenn, when somebody finds the treasure, will they understand why this place is special to you? And that's just, summarizing what she said. And Forrest Fenn's response was, Jenny, maybe they will, but probably not.
Right.
And my whole point to Dale was, okay, if the treasure is found in Montana or Wyoming, because everything he talks about, or even in New Mexico or wherever, then they may not question why that place is special if it was found in one of those states, because it'd be like, oh, well, he talks so much about it in his book. Of course, it's special to him, and people aren't going to question that. But why would he say maybe, but probably not? And that's my point. We
have a description of the place, and I'm just curious, Sean, and
anywhere in the Rocky Mountains, you're going to see mountains, trees, animals.
What if it was the spot that he went with his dad? What if it was the spot that he gave his first kiss to Peggy?
Sure.
What if it was
we don't know.
Be gorgeous, though. It's still going to. I said kiss.
We don't.
It's still going to be gorgeous. But we won't know exactly why it was. But exactly. I still think it's going to be more than a mound of dirt.
Okay, but why do we keep force fitting that into our solve. People are trying to say, okay, then that special place must be Montana. And then they look for everything outside of the poem of aberrations and coincidences that force fit, either from the book or from historical references, everything on Mr. Google that fits so nice lockstep into their interpretation of, you know, the words or phrases in the poem. Instead of just allowing the poem, get that special place and that out of your head.
There's got to be some. I personally believe that it's got to be something interesting or spectacular about it, just to fit a personality of Fenn. Just
sure, but you cannot understand what's going on in that man's head because he's not telling you.
Well, I'm not denying anything Sean's saying, other than that it's boring. I don't think it's spectacular or boring, but it only makes sense that human nature is. You know, Fenn wants to show off this place, and it's got to mean something. Where's the symbolism that we're looking for?
Okay, so my search partner just said in chat he doesn't try to figure out why the spot's special. It's not in the poem.
How do you know?
Follow me down. Email me, and you and I are going to become. And with David.
You need different thoughts. You need different thoughts, but that's exactly what I mean. Like I go down these bunny holes, and then I go down specialized knowledge, and he brings.
But you know what? I mean, Christy, that's great.
That's so cute.
I think. You guys are so lovely. No, it's
not
actually
like that. This is search partner treasure hunting. Get me the freaking treasure crap.
Come on, don't you think like David and I make a good-looking couple? Come on,
I can go that way with you guys, Sean. And you guys look really good together. If you want to go there, I can go there too, my friend.
Hey, I'm gonna get Decall's hat here. Let me.
No, I thought it was so cute. She called them bunny holes. I'm like, what the fuck is a bunny hole? I mean, you know.
Get on the forums, you'll get all the terminology.
I know.
You know what? You know they call it. You know, not Fenny enough. We have to remember. His special place was made special a long time ago, my opinion. You know, and on Gypsy's Kiss one day, they were talking about, they came across this place. It was beautiful. And all of a sudden they saw cans laying on the ground. They decided it wasn't Fenny enough. And I'm like, well, the fucking cans weren't there 20 years ago. They weren't there 8 years ago, 10 years ago. Come on, guys. You know, it's not Fenny enough.
The biggest thing Forrest Fenn has told us is that, you know, several people have figured out the first two clues, but went on past the other 7, not knowing they had been so close. Why were they not knowing? And in my opinion, it's because everybody keeps trying to think. They look around and they go, this place isn't Finney enough. Why is this place special? Why is it? And they go right on past it. You know, even look at Dale. Dale, I mean, admittedly so. And Dale, I'm not picking on you here. You know, Dale, admittedly so, Dale says after 8 years, he looked at the line, you know, take it in the canyon down and went and realized, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm not supposed to be going through the canyon. I'm supposed to be in the canyon. Like,
yeah, but I used to think,
I mean, because people are going right on past it. You know, it's. Geez,
I'm no longer a believer, though, that there's any metaphors. I believe there's
too far to walk is a metaphor.
Well, no, but
I don't believe too far to walk is a metaphor. How far is too far to walk for you, Christy? You said a mile, right? You were training for a mile.
She told me this.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Get excited, Christy. Get excited.
I'm getting her fired up.
No,
but it's different for each of us.
No, but I don't necessarily think that's one of the 9 clues. Do I think there's an actual freaking canyon? I actually think there's a canyon.
I think there's a canyon.
Is it named frickin' Canyon?
Shame on all of you. My water's out. I'm gonna move.
She's shutting down. Oh, we got her all fired up.
Going to a backup.
Okay, I'm going to my backup.
Oh, Bud Light. Awesome. I love it.
That's right. Send the children to their rooms.
Yeah,
they're folks.
Wow, look at that. We got to calm after the storm now. We're in the eye of the storm, folks.
Okay, so back to my point. Since now I've commanded the room, I believe now that there are points along the way. I thought there was metaphors. I thought there was specialized knowledge of this might mean that. No, there's water, and then it halts, and then there's a canyon. And then we can go into, there's actually a home. Now we can get into some.
Brother Thomas. Yeah, see? Guess what? He got snatched by the Wamos and he's out.
I'll see if he texts me, see if he needs back in here.
No, I almost cursed and it offended him and he ran away.
No, his wife came and said,
I know his wife.
English. Well, that's what I think.
Did your wife cut off your Wi-Fi again? What'd you do?
Like I say, I pay the top dollar for Gigablast, and it doesn't seem to help.
Well, your computer's better than mine, that's for sure.
800 megabits per second.
What the hell were we talking about?
I don't know.
Profound thoughts, David. Profound.
Well, we're obviously ignoring the chat room again. They're probably leaving us. We're down to 3 viewers now.
We're up to 93 viewers. 93.
We were at 100. We were at 111 when I got back in here. We were
really, yeah. They all fucking left. They were like, they're like, what the fuck is this Thor shit?
Well, I'm going back up here. And I'm just trying to...
David wants to.
Minotaur Marino has like 20 questions in here. He's like,
my guy.
They're
He's
good.
a Thor, David.
Is Minotaur even over on Thor? I haven't seen him over in a while.
Yeah.
What about 23 Monarcha? He likes to tug at Decalls.
Decall and Mike are going on a date.
Come to Vegas, bro.
What's wrong?
Okay, wait. Minotaur Marino has a question. This is going back about 30 minutes or so. He said, and he's asking the whole panel, is it possible the 500 and 200 foot comments were marketing? What do you guys think? You think he was just kind of teasing everybody?
There's been a lot of people that within 200, 500 feet,
nope.
Not a lot, but you know what I'm saying, dozens. You think it's just one?
I think there's been one within 200 feet. I think there has been more than one 500 feet.
Wow.
In my opinion.
Well, that's your opinion.
Hey, you know what opinions are like.
Exactly. Discount as much as you want. There's some good searchers out there that agree with me.
Well, and he said that.
I don't think it's marketing. I think he's being honest.
Well, he said that one searcher was a man, Christy.
One or two. I think he's being honest. I don't think he has any reason to lie.
He said that one searcher was a man, Christy.
He may have had a woman with him
from time to time. There's no question about that. He slips from time to time, and he's also from the generation that you automatically say he, but you just like what was it, Mr. Google a minute ago? No, it could be Miss Google. We know that. You guys slip. You slip. We gotta correct you.
I prefer Miss Google.
It's Mr. Google and Mrs. Bing.
For a reason.
Are you guys seeing anything? I see one from Sean Martinez. Looks like it's going to Kpro.
I can barely see.
What do you guys think about the 200-foot searcher who didn't find it, even though they were so close?
Ignorant.
Think the blaze is smaller or just unrecognizable? Hence the "if you've been wise."
I think the blaze is big. It's bold. It's beautiful. It's out there.
800-foot salamander.
Yeah.
Okay, I will tell you. I believe unless you have the beginning, no one needs to worry about the blaze.
Yep.
And everybody thinks they're on clue 8 or 9, and they're not. Like I had tried to, Fenn, I have this, that, the other, and he's started with WW. If you don't, how
would you know you have the right warm waters haul? How do you know?
Unless you get the treasure, that's it. I mean, that's what
and that's actually the biggest frustration with this hunt, and I've done other hunts that you actually get confirmation along the way.
Yeah.
You have no confirmation till the end.
Zero.
And so that is the hard part about. I don't have the answer. If I had the answer to that, I'd probably have.
And the best way to mitigate all that confirmation bias, and I keep saying this, is just stick with 166 words in the poem.
Yeah, right. And that's the truth. Stick with what the poem tells you. When you start to get lost, go back to the poem and read it, and see if you can't recenter yourself.
Is your wife like throwing pots and pans next door to Decall? What's going on over there?
Y'all wish you had a wife like mine. She does dishes constantly, and you'll probably hear the vacuum in the washing machine going.
I haven't done dishes in 5 years. I don't know what you're talking about. You can get out there and get.
Yeah, because you got an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. You're not doing. They're doing all the dishes.
I was cleaning the garage yesterday.
Okay.
Hey, down a freaking garage.
I'm trying to look for more questions here. I got one that's
flying.
Sean Martinez going to you, Decall. What do you guys think about the 200-foot searcher who didn't? Oh no, that's the one we just asked of.
Yeah, I think something interesting. Christy has brought it up is that one of the 200-footers is from the search community. So how obvious?
Well, they all are from the search community. It's whether they're in the forums or not.
You know what I mean? In the forums, and that's interesting.
Well, let me throw one out. What if you were the 200-footer and you quit?
Yeah.
Which I believe the 200-footer is quit.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about that is the 200-footer quit, but they don't realize they were the 200-footers, so they're kind of like, they're just kind of off. Done.
Well, they have no certainty. That's the whole point. They don't know for certain that they're right. And because there is no confirmation, you do get frustrated and you walk away. If you have no certainty in your general solve, if you don't have that nailed down for certain, And the only
Sean, this is the dilemma.
It is a dilemma. I get it.
Here, I mean, Fenn wants us to go out, but okay, you want us to waste another $1,000 when the mathematics of it is we are probably 1 in 1,000. And we're all 999 people that are wrong. Okay, we firmly fit into that category of not correct.
But if you have a complete solve and you go through your 9 clues and it violates, like I know someone that was searching outside the search area, someone that was searching over 10-2, someone that's hiring a helicopter to get there. That's called 7% crazy. Scrap your solve and start over.
Yeah, look, I agree.
And that's what we don't do. We try to rationalize it. We try to say, well, that's not exactly what he said. And for me, I can tell you, like, I've told Decall this. I love that he put it out there, but 1 mile. And that is something that I know for sure, and I know all of you don't.
I don't think you know it for sure because
I know it for freaking sure.
No, Christy.
Yes. He would not put me in harm's way.
Less than a few.
He would not put me in harm's way. I was 70 pounds heavier.
Say less than
on 1 mile.
He didn't say less than a mile. He said less than a few. Okay,
No. What he said was, I emailed him and said, he was very nice. I said, I'm fat and I'm corporate. I can't make it more than a mile. I'm waiting to go boots on the ground. Next day, he put on Jenny's site, if you're walking too far, you need nice email from Chris.
No. His email said, I got a nice email from somebody named Christy who admits to being a desk person that said, if you are walking more than a mile, you're going too far. Yeah, but his comment was the fact that you were saying that if you walk more than a mile, not that he said you are. Now, I agree. I personally do agree that if you are walking more than a mile from where you park your car to where you believe the treasure is, you're walking too far. Because Forrest Fenn has said, listen, I walked less than a few miles when I hid the treasure, if that helps or something.
Well, let me play this out. And this is after Randy's death. I emailed him and said, I made it a mile today. Should I go out? The treasure chest is actually 2 miles out. I decided to go 2 miles out and I died. I would say he would be responsible. He's not going to do that. He is not going to purposely put someone in harm's way. I think all the other stuff is shenanigans. We can say it doesn't matter or not. When it comes to safety, he doesn't screw around. Yep. He would not have put me in harm's way. And I didn't even know him. That was one of my first emails to him.
Okay, I go back to my question to him that he still hasn't answered.
Listen, that quote says nothing. It says walking. If you are walking long distances in search of the treasure, you're walking too far. The only time he's been specific, he may have told you 1 mile, but he told the public less than a few miles.
Okay, so now here's to David's point.
But that may be round trip. That may be all 4 or 2 trips. The day that
went up, I took on a previous forum that I was a part of, I took the email and put it up and said, here's the exact email where I said 1 mile. And several people screen captured it because I've taken it down since then because that's not a site I'm a part of anymore. But I took it down there. People have the exact email that I sent.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm fine with that exact email. I am fine with that. But what he said in public is different than what he told you in an email. And then I calculate it as less than 2.9 miles is the maximum distance your solve should be. My solve is 2.1, and maybe.
Yeah, but you read that, you interpret that, I think, Decall, as from where you're parking your car to actually where the treasure is, right? That 2.9 miles.
Yeah.
Now, if he took 2 trips from where he parked his car to where he hid the treasure, and he said, I walked less than a few miles. Do you interpret that to be one way, or do you interpret that to be 4 trips? I mean, all total.
The most obvious answer is how far is the chest from where you park? That's the simplest concept to even discuss. That's why I think less than a few miles. If you're walking less than a few miles, that's what he's. But
don't you think the other major issue I have with your solve, which I still give you tons of credit for putting it out there and letting us rip it up, is it's submerged in water.
Well, I thought that, and that's why I've been wasting time for 2 seasons because. I was looking underwater. It's stagnant water. But anyway, I think it's fine to calculate the maximum distance, and I think it's very logical to say that it's not less than a mile in most cases, simply because he didn't say it's less than a mile anywhere specifically other than your email. Go ahead. less than a few miles means anything over 0.1 to.
And this is where I do got to give you credit, Decall. If I didn't receive that email or send that email and receive it back, I probably would be down. Oh, Decall got it or David got it. And I would probably be doing the same thing. So I understand what you're saying. I just don't. This is the only thing that I think I know for sure.
Well, so, and then even in my solve, I don't have to go all the way to Mini Lake to complete the solve. Maybe there's interesting points in the poem that could lead me to the salamander is only 1 mile away. Okay. And any other significant landmark, that's what I got. Okay, David, shit. I mean, I don't know how else to.
I like the floating hat more than I like the salamander.
I do too. And Fenn came up with the floating hat. I knew about the floating hat. It was floating before he ever talked about it. So.
Well, no, I thought that was great when we were talking to Dale and he talked about how that came to be. That was awesome.
So Minotaur Marino asked the panel, what does pillow down and scented in mean coming out of the chapter in Flywater? What do you guys think that means?
It means you're staying in the wrong hotel. Get somewhere else.
Well, all right. Here's an interesting take on that. All right. Yeah, in the coffin, okay, you're pillowed down and scented in. Okay. If you're laying a woman, okay, it's pillowed down and scented in, okay? This could be a perfect double analogy, like I always say. There's more than one layer in the poem, okay? Go ahead and laugh. It's hilarious.
I love you, but no.
You always got to go that route.
Come back to earth. No. You're so fun to listen to, but you're no.
I could be nuts.
No. That's why he wears a black hat.
Well, this is where we're all 7%. You're not 1%. You're not like crazy in a like you're gonna hurt someone way. You're crazy fun, but no, don't spend any more money on that solve.
Oh, geez, come on.
Love you though. I love you.
His wife won't let him go back out again. So
I'm not going out. I'm not going out this year.
We need to put her on the show. We need to have her.
This year.
No, I'm not.
This year.
I may have a chance to talk her into it next year, but.
So, David, what do you think about pillow down and scented in? What do you think that means?
I have absolutely no idea. Like I said, you're staying at the wrong hotel. Upgrade for God's sakes.
Well, I'm going to use Sean's words, and not that you've gone to me yet, but Sean's words. There's too many words in that book to pick 4 of them and go down those bunny holes. Yeah. And you spend days and days going down. So throw out the book. And
it's a new poem purist.
I sent him the book. He sent it back to me and said, no, thank you. I was so pissed. But now I agree with him.
Just, hey, follow me down. Next time she sends you a book, just burn it.
Oh, well, I would be mad. No, because I can use it on THOR for a.
That just makes every one of the other 30,000 books that are out there more valuable. Raising the value of your books.
Oh my God!
All right, we got another one from
this chat room is lit though. I gotta tell you, man, these guys are asking. You know why
they're not as lit as you, David?
Oh, there's
why they're asking how many questions?
Gold and Coin of West. He donated a silver bar. 10-ounce silver bar for the.
Who did?
He just got on JS Gold and Coin of Westchester. So nice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, JS. Very nice. So I've got a question here from Journeyer, who says, if you can refer to River Bathing is Best, where he talks about his special place and how even his own granddaughters were not interested. I guess I don't understand the question. Yeah, his own granddaughters weren't even interested. Kelly, I think he says in that book, he tells his daughter Kelly to jump in there, and she didn't even want to get in there, so they're not even interested.
They search up there, though.
I didn't know if that was a question, Journeyer. I guess I lost you there.
They search up north.
Yeah, but the kids are a different culture now. I mean, internet is so much more entertaining than just out in the woods. I mean, we used to go out in the woods, going visiting grandma and looking for arrowheads. I used to do the same thing, pottery. We'd come home with all kinds of neat things. But kids don't do anything like that anymore.
I disagree. I mean, I think that they do have their devices and things, but my kids, I can't get them from outside. I mean, they're outside all the time. They are exercising all the time. They're having Decall your kids. How many of them are Eagle Scouts? I mean, I disagree that I think there's a lot more that have the opportunity now. But I think the ones that want to get outside and adventure, I mean, my son brings in so much dirt and bugs and frogs and you name it, and they grow out here in the South. So I mean, it's I think there might be not as many of them, but I think the Forrest Fenns that was 13 years old, that's my son. He's a treasure hunter. He wants to be out in the middle of mud and jumping in it.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's the hope for the future right there. That Yellowstone volcano goes off, the rest of those people are gone.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we got another question from Minotaur Marino here, and he's asking everybody on the panel. He says, about to go boots on the ground and need help. I find my blaze, look quickly down. Now, what are each of you looking for? Once we find our blaze and looking quickly down, what are we looking for? The treasure. We're looking for a 10-inch box. I don't know if you got the email, Minotaur, but we're looking for a box. It's about 10 by 10. It's got some ladders on it. I'm just kidding, Minotaur. I'm giving you a hard time. So really, what are you guys looking for? I'm looking for the treasure, really. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get one. I always have an opinion. It depends on what your blaze is. Yeah. I've had two significantly different blazes. And in one situation, the blaze, I went way down. I had a blaze that was nowhere near, but the down meant something to me, actually, a navigation thing. I think I looked at Oho's stuff too much on coordinates and all that. My second blaze was up on a hillside, and you would look directly down, and there was actually an X you could see from the hillside, but you could only see it from the hillside. It was awesome, and I went, oh my God, because when you look at it from the side, it didn't look like that. Up top, it looked like an X. I said, there's my frickin' X. Yeah. So it depends. It depends on if you would like, Minotaur, please put what your blaze exactly is, and we can help you.
And where to find
We'll go there and look for you. Yeah, we'll help you. Don't even go boots on the ground. We'll go there for you. We'll go look. We'll give you the frog out of the treasure chest, apparently.
Hey, Sean, what do you think about this? What's the word that Illinois Ghost came up with?
Yeah, so what IG, Illinois, got to pronounce that right, Ghost. I know you guys are proud of me. Everybody should be proud of me. I'm learning something. Whole endeavor. He did. He got a word of the word from Forrest, and that word was swivet. And we all know SWIVET, I think is how it is spelled. But that word is used in the chapter looking for Lewis and Clark with Donnie. And he had said that Donnie had gotten a serious swivet, which if we look at the interpretation of the word, and I don't have that interpretation here to look up, but it's Decall. What have you got up there? I know you've probably got it up right now.
I was looking for swivelet.
Yeah, swivel and swivel or swivet are two different things, but it's like to get in a serious frustration or something like that.
Yeah, fluster or panic.
Donnie was all worried because they were out in the middle of nowhere. They burnt their map. They don't know where the hell they're going. They're trying to use mountain man wisdom and look at the sun and all this other crap, and they don't know where the hell they're at.
Well, it's interesting that it correlates to that story. It's also interesting. Somebody on Harry's mentioned that it is a synonym for dither. Dither is the guy that got his hat exploded from the inside out. I think that's a very interesting connection, but swivet, yeah.
The room is coming up with their own ideas.
Well, and here's one thing that I mentioned, and I think David and I talked about this, is that, he throws out, this last word or whatever I think he gave to Illinois Ghost was what? Creen? Crean. No, he did it. Queer was one, yeah. And then Creen was another. And now we've got this one, Swivet. And I mean, I think we're all, four of us here are probably, with the exception of Kpro, who's 19, are all pretty much close to the same age.
I love you, Sean.
Right, I know.
I'm 19, absolutely.
So we all kind of, we have the same understanding of some of the words, but those are words that we're not familiar with. Those are words that probably our grandparents and great-grandparents are somewhat familiar with. No offense for us. We don't think you're our great-grandfather. But you're using words that we're not really familiar with. So if we look through all those 166 words in the poem, what are a couple words out of that poem that we are not familiar with?
Yeah, I know what you're
probably
thinking.
Would be the closest. Or there's different interpretations of scant. I totally agree with you.
What is the other word that we're not really familiar with?
And quickly, my dad was born in 29.
Yeah.
And Fenn was born in 30. And like I said, when I was working with my dad, and he would use the word quickly as like right here, right now. You're looking like,
Yeah.
You know,
directly, immediately.
Yeah, exactly,
you know?
immediately.
Not
That's
not
right.
like run over here. He's telling you to look quickly. How can you like what? You know, I mean, how are you going to
What?
find something if you're doing this? You know, I don't know. Right? So I mean, so is he not pointing out archaic words that we in our generation that is different from his, you know, that we don't really understand, you know, cream.
Well, look at queer. I guarantee I don't think he was saying what I think of when I hear the word queer.
No, say it.
When some generations believe that it is a sexual orientation rather than maybe
strange, awkward.
Yeah,
it's odd.
Unusual.
Odd.
Yeah.
For my father, it was odd. You know, when something was queer, it was odd. That's just what it was.
Yeah.
When I think of the word,
that's actually in the slogan. See, I go down bunny holes, and I don't get mad at me, follow. I looked it up, and I actually found a slogan from the 1900s that was in up in West Yellowstone. And I'm like, oh, I found it. It's like, okay, get back to 166.
Yes, the whole song
I get slapped with
hinges
it all
on
the time, Sean, and I think of you every time. He says, "Where is that in the poem?" It's like, damn, you're right, but
I'm like a little worm in your ear, folks. That's exactly.
See, I do that shit all the time, though. I'm like, so where is this in the poem? You know, we'll be talking about something. I'm like, okay, so where is this now in the poem? What? And then Sean will be like, well, clearly, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, all right, whatever.
Well, it does make you wonder, why is Fenn bringing up these weird words? I mean, does it have anything?
Rick asked for them. I think he's just like he gives me words. He gives me words sometimes, and I'm like, you know what? You were thinking that day, let me get some crap out there that the forums will go crazy on.
Why did he tell some lady the treasure is 300 miles west of Toledo?
I don't know.
Because we asked for, we ask a question, and he feels like he's got to give us an answer. I mean, he could just be, he could be completely screwing with all, you know, but when I look at those strange words he's giving us, I think he's trying to get us, our mind, to question those words. What do those words mean? Again, what does he say in the Moby Dickens interview from 2013? You know, you look at that poem and they look just like simple words, but I guaranteed you, I work on that poem for many years. You know, I looked up the meaning of words, you know, I'm an author, and sometimes I've got to look up the meaning of words. So
but do you think those words out there actually pertain to the correct solve?
No. He's trying to get us to think. He's trying to get us to think.
Right.
And look at every other word in that poem, and every other word is just an average word that we probably see. But words like carry, words like scant, words like quickly, there's some other words in there that we go, well, what is those words? I mean, use treasures, riches, trove. Do we really know what those words mean? Do we really understand what each of those words are? They a noun? Are they a verb? What are the different interpretations of those words? You know,
I'm going to guarantee you, he spent more time looking up the meaning of words than he did with that fucking lawyer.
Lawyer.
Bet you.
Well, yeah.
I've got a brother-in-law that's a lawyer.
Joel Lewicki, we love you.
Yeah, well, but you're probably like doing it like, you know.
Lawyers are a breed apart, and they should have the good judgment to do so.
I was just going to say I agree with David King, but then kind of went too far.
We love you, Joel. Just saying.
Kind of went too far.
Hope your wife's not a lawyer.
You know? Look, I was a military police officer. I always went too far. Trust me.
Hey, well, I got to give a compliment to Jason Dent and Illinois Ghost, Rick, and Sasha. I mean, they're coming up with some good content. I mean, they answered they got the what's the word, and they also answered that question about the 1933 double eagle. I thought that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was great. You're absolutely right.
That's good information. I mean,
sure.
You know what Sean and I kind of calculated, though? If he doesn't have a list or an inventory of those exact years on the coins, that's basically what he knows. No exact inventory means
that man knows if there's a 1933 double eagle in that fucking chest.
Okay, but if there's no inventory anyway.
There is an inventory.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, didn't we see them all in their little plastic sleeve? And he had to
say that to Jason then?
Garbage.
I don't think I personally, I mean, I think that there is an inventory of what's in that treasure. I think he has gone over everything that's there. Now, is it every single speck of gold dust that's in there? No. But the key items like the coin, sure. I think that he knows or has some kind of inventory or went over everything in there.
Well, okay.
He did admit in Jason's show, in the email, that he said that none of those coins are, I know I'm mixing this up, and Jason, you can correct me, that none of them have a huge value, meaning that they're not 7.75 million or whatever, the 1.
But he said I didn't keep track of the years or something like that.
But, okay, so this was on one of the forums.
You got to turn your volume up, Christy, or get closer.
Yeah, you got something going on.
Sorry. So
you got a Bud Light sitting on your damn microphone.
Oh, actually, it's kind of, okay, hold on. Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
that's
I'll
not
yell
better.
if I have to.
Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Okay. See, I need to move this around. Okay. Yeah. So we had the raid in what, 2009?
Yeah. Tell us about that.
Oh, Decall, shame on you. Every single item was inventoried. Every single
one.
Just saying, everybody's wondering.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
That's
all I have for you. I've only had one. Sorry.
He just told Jason that he didn't keep track of the years. Okay, but
conundrum. Oh, it's the very first one. Let's all be shocked. We have a conundrum from Fenn.
Conundrum.
Conundrum.
That's good use of the word.
He said another.
That's his middle name.
But he did make it very almost extremely clear that there's no 1933.
I think so.
Yeah. And then my argument with Sean earlier was, okay, then he probably didn't do scribe an FF in there, because how can he scribe an FF or mark each coin if he doesn't know? Like, people would just start marking the coins and say, oh, this came out of Fenn's chest. And unless he had an exact inventory, he couldn't mark each coin special either. So he must have an inventory if he marked them special. Because if he's trying
government has an inventory. He has an inventory. If the government has one, how does he not have one?
Well, yeah. You're walking a tightrope here.
Quit teasing it out of me. No, I'm not. It will be out one day. But he's the first to say, I mean, if you know about a raid, they can't just come in and start taking crap. They have to inventory every item.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Wow, is any of that stuff public?
They ain't like a motherfucking gangster.
Not yet, apparently.
Maybe
that's
the
good. Okay.
community should share that.
We got any other questions? Why must I go said earlier that punctuation and grammar does not matter at all, folks. Don't even worry about it.
Who said that?
Why must I go? He said he's totally giving up on his grammar thing. Punctuation is not.
I totally agree. Why must I go? There's only symbolism. There's only salamanders. There's only floating hats. There's nothing to do with grammar.
It's all metaphors. It's everything else. Complete rabbit holes.
Sweet weed.
Rainbows. Rainbows.
Take the poem completely out of the picture. Rip it out of your book, everybody. Burn that part. Look at your book.
Beautiful double omegas everywhere in the poem. Okay?
My lord.
Yes, H. Purd, you are right. Searchers continue to figure out the first 2 clues, and they don't understand the significance of where they are, and they go past the other 7 clues. Exactly, because everybody's trying to understand why that place is special. They only arrive there as an aberration.
The better point is everybody thinks they're the person that has the first 2.
Sure, we all do. Yep.
I did when I was in Yellowstone. I thought I had it all, and then all of a sudden I was like, well, maybe it ain't in Yellowstone.
Right.
Maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't.
12 grand later, it's like, there's a harsh reality.
I give you permission to find it. Please find it. Put me out of my misery. I can't wait till it's found.
Everybody that had, I believe everybody has one little piece of really good stuff that took them to their search location. If everybody took that one thing and actually shared it, this would be over in a week. But they don't, because they think that's their one little bit, even though they're in 100 different areas.
The problem is if everybody shared everything, who do you believe is on the right path? That's the whole point. Because if everybody else believes that they're on the right path, who do you follow? It's no different than if somebody hacked Forrest Fenn's email. Who would they look at? Who would they follow? Like, oh, he's got 350 million emails in there. Who the heck do they
is
all these people that want to be data miners or want to be hackers? Great. Good luck. Trying to figure out who you're supposed to follow.
All you hackers, just get me Forrest Fenn's Google Earth history.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
How does he know? How does he know when it's going to be found?
Well, that's a good point.
That's what could show us.
He's paying a satellite service to look at this search area every day. and he can see who pulls up and who walks in. And yeah, what's wrong with that?
You know, that's funny. At one time, I asked if Google Earth collected data on where people were searching.
Oh yeah,
that's a damn good idea.
Yeah, but again, who do you follow? Who does Google go, okay, we need to follow this one guy right here because
herd mentality,
we think he's right. No, Jesus. That's why Forrest Fenn had his original gut feeling. Is it because, you know, now he's totally refuted that gut feeling as being nothing but a hunch. But the fact of the matter is that whole hunch or gut feeling may just be based on several people zeroing in on the correct search state, the correct search region. Who knows? You know, it could be amongst many different things. But how would even some Google MIT master whiz, and I'll go up against any MIT guy in this whole freaking endeavor any day, because we all have the same ability to try and find this thing. You know, the MIT guy has no advantage over me to call Christy, David, or anybody else.
I guarantee
honestly,
you,
they don't.
They have Google's actual data on Fenn would hand you the
Sure, but they'd have even if you plotted every little search location on the Rocky Mountains that people were searching, the whole Rocky Mountains would be red.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to make a comment out of the chat room. And Minister, I love you, but I'm going to say, you just retracted it, but I already read it.
No.
So you said that you know you have the spot. You're just worried it's not going to be there when you get there. And I said, we've all been there. And you said, no, I know I have the right spot. We've all been there. Just when you crash, like I just did, just come back. We've all been there. And I'm hoping if you're the one, shoot, you're a Thor. It's awesome. I'll hear all about it. But don't worry if it's not there. Just know when you stumble, just get up. There's so many people that crash so hard and they quit that day. As long as you're not taking food out of your family's mouth to get out there,
that ain't no shit.
Have a good time. The day after Boots on the Ground, and Sean was invited because he was close, we had a party. It was Sasha and Toby and Shelly and Cynthia, and I had way too many margaritas because I was so mad it wasn't there. It's the greatest thing to do after Boots on the Ground. You just have to have fun with it, but just don't crash hard is all I
the big problem is people, even on their first Boots on the Ground search or even their first Boots on the Ground search in a new search area, they half-heartedly expect to go out there and walk straight to this thing, guys. And I just don't think
I did.
Holy cow, guys.
Well, no, it's like being in love for the first time. You think it's all going to be just, you're never going to fight and it's all going to just be lovely and all. No, that's not the real world. You
got to fight. You got to kick and scream. You got to claw with your search area.
Hey, look, I went to the Mammoth Hotel restaurant in the hotel, and I had myself a real nice bison steak dinner and lots of beers, and tipped them well, and went back to the cabin and fell asleep in a deep state of depression, and woke up the next day and said, "Next."
Oh, you'll feel the same after Vegas, so come on down, brother.
Oh man, been there before.
Here's a funny one. When I did my first Boots on the Ground and crashed hard, I went into Bullwinkle's and asked the waitress, "Do you happen to know about the Fenn hunt?" He said, "Yeah." She said, "Yeah, I'm related to him." I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "That's my dad. That was Chip, or my uncle. It was Chip."
Yeah, I was going to say.
I went over and there was a bunch of construction guys. I said, "Can I buy you a round?" They all said yes. I bought him a round. Chip doesn't drink. And he sat with us for like 3 hours. His wife was mad at him because we just chatted. He talked about the bones and all of that. He was so fantastic. That was like the best crash. And then, oh my gosh, here's some guy that is related to Fenn. He had seen the previous poem. He was a searcher. It was awesome.
You didn't take him out?
Isn't that cool?
I picked up a hitchhiker who was related to Fenn. It was awesome. It was a great talk. I mean, I walked on that.
He had a wife, and then he drank water. He was much like Decall. If Decall and I meet up, we're going to have a water, Diet Coke. It's going to be
right. That's what I'm talking about.
Shame on you.
We'll say a prayer together.
There you go. And at the end of the day, she's going to own your fucking hat.
Hey guys, we are creeping up on an hour and 45 minutes, and I'd like to wrap this thing up before we get to that 2-hour mark. We've got many people that are out on the East Coast that obviously got to work tomorrow. No,
I don't have to work tomorrow. I retired. Thank you very much.
That's amazing.
24 and a half years with Public Supermarkets Incorporated.
Wow.
See ya.
What are you going to do with your spare time, David?
Oh man, probably go to a bunch of doctors. I'm all fucked up, man.
Treasure hunting.
Look into the low carb, man. It's cured all my ills.
Dude, are you kidding me? Oh my God, I got like.
You got to get rid of the beard, David. You got to get rid of the beard. That right there.
My beard?
Oh. No, beer. BEER.
You're sitting there drinking a fucking Bud Light, and you're telling me to get rid of the beer.
One night a week, and I changed my night a week because of it. One night a week.
Excellent
Other than that, nope.
Excellent work.
All right, guys. Well,
can you tolerate whiskey?
It's been a great night. The main focus was obviously to talk about Jdiggins and do what we can and talk about the efforts to try and get her and her family on her feet and help her out. So, Kpro, Christy, if you just want to wrap things up really quick and highlight what's going on with that and where we're going from here on that.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, up on THOR, there is a thread. I'm going to probably stick it in the next day or two. But we'll get updates from Jamie on how she's doing. I will make sure she asked, and I'm going to get her a transcript of this. She gives updates on all the different forums and all the different websites and all the different Facebooks because she's a part of everything. And so we are going to add as many donations that come in. We will add to the raffle or to the donations that come in and what we're going to be giving out. If there's any other big ticket items, we might do another challenge, but we have a challenge out right now. Coin 3 when it hits 10 grand, coin 4 when it hits 15 grand. But then we have a ton of other stuff, and I already went over it. Last we heard it was at 6,100, but it's been an hour, so I'm sure we're well above that. But on the 6th, 2 o'clock, if you're in Santa Fe, I would love to meet you. I've met a few searchers, and everybody's super fun. I'm going to try to MC the event. Cynthia, hopefully you see this and you know you're going to be the co-host. And we're going to have a great time and get lots of stuff out to the community for the best of Jamie, who we love, and her family, and Bill. Our prayers are with you.
So yeah, September 6th will be the first annual Jdiggins.
There you go.
Ooh, all right.
Great. Well, that's awesome. Once again, it's great to see the search community coming together for one of their own. I think that's important that we can set all our differences and bunny holes aside and, join together to help out one of our searchers in need. It's a tragic incident that has happened, and we want to come together for that person who's been in this search for a while and really been a big part of the community. And it doesn't matter if you've been in it for a little while or a long while. We're all here for you. So, David, you got any last words?
Yeah, hey, thanks for coming out. Good to meet you. I'll call you Kpro from now on because if it's good enough for Forrest Fenn, it's good enough for me.
Excellent.
Decall, how about you?
FennTreasure.com, Facebook /Decall. Give me a call, write me. Check out my low carb video on YouTube. It's very interesting, and that's it.
And hashtag 800-foot salamander.
That's right. Hashtag
floating hat mother.
Well, guys, we just want to say thank you to all of you guys in the chat room. We wouldn't have this show if it wasn't for you and all the subscribers and all of you out on the forums across the community. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you guys.
No, I was doing this shit before y'all got here. I was doing this shit on my own in a closet. So
But it's great to have you all here with us tonight. Again. We enjoy, talking back to you guys and being able to chat with you. We try not to ignore you guys in the chat room, but we get on our own rants and we go, and you guys pretty much ignore us and talk to yourselves in there. So it's been a fun night. Obviously, the main topic is to talk about Jdiggins. So again, guys, the link to donate to Jamie Jordan will be in the bottom down here in the description. And if you're not familiar with PayPal or don't have a way, there's obviously a way that you can mail a check to Mike Cowling, who is kind of taking charge of that portion of it. And we will be giving updates, like Christy said. So what's that?
Mike is totally trusted, a very good guy, honest, upright.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Easy to contribute, no drug test required.
Right. So guys, once again, it's been a fun night. We appreciate y'all coming out and spending a couple hours with us, and we will catch you all on the flip side. Good night, guys. Take care. Everybody. Have a sweet night. You God guys, bless. You four of you stick around. Oh, somebody else is going to stop it. I'm not in charge.
I
don't have it. That means
you can keep going.
Goodbye.
Who's got